Welcome, friends, to episode 54 of Xbox Friends Podcast. Today, we're going to give our predictions for the Xbox Showcase that will be on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Uh, so, with me, I'm Verdugo. I always still mess that up. I'm your host, Verdugo, and with me, Maestro. What up, son?
What is up? How are you
I'm
and
excited.
everyone in the
I'm
household?
excited, bro.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Oh, yeah. I am excited. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man.
gonna be a good time because they have not missed in the last couple of years. So
Yes. That's one of the reasons why I'm excited because, they've been having banging showcases for the last 3, maybe 4 years or something like that.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what they're going to show on Sunday, which is the point
Maybe.
of the episode today. We're going to give some predictions, or at least we're going to, question if something's going to happen, and then we'll both say either yes or no, depending on what we think, if it could happen or not. Um, Yeah, so Sunday, and then are we still watching it together? I haven't asked you.
So maybe not. Because I am actually not going to be in New York. So
All right.
but I will let you know. Maybe, maybe not. Just depends on
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
a few variables.
Yeah, let me know either way. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I don't know if Goku will come to sit with me and watch it like last time. And then depending on where you are, if you're available, then either that day we'll do the reactions to it, or I don't know, depending on when that will be, either Monday or Tuesday. I don't really mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll let you know because I'm gonna be in PA that weekend. So, but we'll see. But yeah, I have either way. I am super excited for it. So it's
Oh,
been a good, like I said, a good few years.
yeah.
And there's a lot in the horizon that there are a lot of rumors about. There's a lot of things that we just kind of speculate, and there are a lot of good things happening. And it's weird to say that that Xbox has tons of games, so after so many years, so it's a good position to be in.
Yeah, and that's what makes it hard to know what could they show, because I could just show anything. They have so many things,
Yeah,
and for us to just um, predict, we could just say, "Oh, they're gonna show Fable." They could show Fable, even though it's coming out next year. But I have some that we don't know if they're gonna show or not because they didn't even mention it last year. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do it this year, and we'll get to it in just a little bit. Now, usually we do start with what we've been playing. So I haven't. I mean, I did start a new game, but I'm not ready to talk about it
really?
yet because I'm not too deep into it. Well, not deep.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hours in, and I don't feel like I want to talk about it yet because there's not
Okay.
much I could say yet. But other than that, I've been playing, my Warzone, my regular, and
Yeah.
there's no other game. I tried the demo for Hell is what is it? Hell is Us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Hmm.
tried that demo. At the beginning, I was like, "Ah, I don't know if I like this." And then I gave it another try, and I got a little um, deeper into it or further into it, and I started liking it a little bit. I haven't gotten to an open area where I could just go either way, wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
But I kind of like what they're doing because it's a game where there's no map. It doesn't tell you where to go. You could do things on your own pace, go anywhere you want. There's no hint at all. So it's like Elden Ring. Elden Ring, you don't
Yeah.
really have. I mean, you do have a map,
You-
right? But there's no
yeah,
waypoint.
but there's
Well, there is
no.
a
Yeah.
waypoint in Elden Ring, right?
There's this
Sort
little
of.
like arrow, not
Yeah,
arrows, but it's like from the where you rest. I forget what that's called.
yeah, yeah,
You have like little pointers, but even
yeah.
then, it's just a point to the
It's just
mission, but it doesn't give
pointing.
you information about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that way, somewhere that way. Just go.
right.
Yeah. So
And
this
then,
game, like I like it a little bit. I'm not liking it too much because I know later on when it opens up, I'm gonna just, how I like my linear games. And this
Yeah.
game is kind of linear at the beginning, but I know it's gonna open up, and that's probably when I'm gonna go, yeah, not for me.
Too much stuff.
Yeah, did you try it yet?
Yeah. No, no, I haven't tried it yet. But I mean, like you, I haven't really played much, but I did finish Expedition 33, which I know I finished the last time, but I mean like completionist, right? So I
Okay.
actually went through everything. I leveled up to 99 to the max you can possibly level up for one of the characters. And I like there were two bosses at the end, one of them called Simon, and I forget the other lady's name, but they're like bosses that are they're very difficult, right? But I got to a point. I got so many. What is it? Luminous. I forget what they're called.
Uh,
Like the little like
I forgot already. Lunar,
things.
something like that.
Luminous. Yeah, I think it's luminous or something to that extent. But yeah, like the little power ups that you can add onto your characters, right? I got it to a point. I think the max hit on a single hit that I got was like 28 million
Million.
HP. Million. Yeah, I
Isn't
basically
that
won.
isn't that a
What?
one hit kill at that point?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was, I got to the
Jeez.
boss, one hit kill, went through to the first phase, and then in the second phase,
Diablo.
I did the same thing, and then I got it to like 10% almost. So like I finished it off with my other characters anyway. But it was before that, before I was able to get the characters up to that level, it's almost impossible to beat that last guy. It's like crazy because he's so fast that he doesn't give you enough time to parry the hits or dodge them because your characters can't even move that fast. Like you can't do like parry like that fast. You have there's like a cooldown for the parry.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you can parry one of the hits, but you're gonna definitely get hit with the second hit. You know,
Oof.
so you can't. It's not fast enough for you to do that. So it's kind of a what's called like a cheese boss, right? Like they do a bunch of stuff and you can't get out of it. So you have to be super OP in order to beat it. And so that's where I got. But so I got almost every single achievement except one. And that's because this achievement I have to meet with like seven different characters and not beat or fight any of them. And I fought all of them in the first
Oh
playthrough.
my god.
So,
So that means you're
so
gonna
I
have to
have to like,
start a new game
yeah,
plus.
exactly, yeah, just for that achievement.
It should be
And
easy
so,
though. I mean, with the new game
yeah,
plus, the game I don't know if the game will still
gets
be
harder.
difficult. It gets harder? Okay, well, good luck
Yeah.
then.
It, no, but even then, I know it gets harder. But my characters are so, I mean, they're maxed out, right? So even then, it's still
It will
way more
probably
powerful.
an even fight, right? It won't be
You're right.
hard. It won't be that hard, I guess.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
have all the Pictos, I have all the Lumens, and I have all the stuff. So
Dang.
they just kind of stack on stack on stack, and yeah,
Jeez.
it's pretty powerful. But either way, I don't know if I'm gonna do another run until the DLC comes out, and maybe I'll like focus on that as well on the last achievement, in addition to whatever achievements if there's a DLC. I don't even know if there's a DLC, but
I was gonna ask because
uh,
I think I heard today they really didn't or haven't announced any DLC, so we don't
mm-mm.
really know if there is gonna be any.
Yeah. So, but but yeah, no, I oh the the only other it's not really it's not really a full game. I started I played the demo for Stellar Blade
Oh, okay. Yeah, I played that
on
too.
PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was okay. I don't know. I wasn't really aside from the character which looks amazing, right? Like the it's just okay. I wasn't impressed, and maybe it's just the beginning that is not impressive, and it gets way better later on. But it was not a good first impression. I'm just like, like I don't know if I care enough to continue this. Like it didn't grab me, and I know it's just first level, right? And I get it. Like I'm sure there's a lot more, and there's a lot of moves and a lot of cool things that can happen, but it just didn't seem. It seemed very basic. Like one is very linear, at least in the beginning. I don't know. Maybe later on it becomes huge and open world. I don't know.
I
But
hope
right
not.
now it's super linear. So
Yeah.
it's like there's no options to go many areas, and then you just collect these little things. When you kill an enemy, you collect these little things. But it's like, okay, there isn't. I don't know. I didn't feel like there was something special when I was starting. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, or there was nothing impressive in the very first. And it might be just me. I'm looking at the first level, and I need to continue playing through the first, and maybe it gets way better afterwards. But it's weird because when I play Elden Ring, I had never played any game like that before, and it's also in the beginning at least is very linear, right? Because you're going through the caves and all this stuff, and
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
really sure what's going on. And then you get into the open world, you're like, oh my goodness, what if I go there and it doesn't tell you anything, right? And then I don't know, I just felt like it felt like a game from the 90s or 2000s, basically. Like, go to this checkpoint and then rest in that checkpoint and then upgrade your character and then go to the next checkpoint and then rest in that place and then
I think
upgrade
that
your
was
character.
their point of making that game, making it, you know, like a 2000 game because we don't really get those anymore.
Yeah,
But I feel the same way. When I played it, I wasn't feeling it that much. The combat, I thought there was more weight to it, but I feel like whenever I'm fighting in one of those monsters, like I don't feel the oomph, like that you
yeah,
get from like not a fighting game because a fighting game, yeah, you're gonna see all that because the collision with how they fight, you see, it's like they're really hitting each other.
yeah.
But it it's not like I'm waiting. Or I was waiting for it to be like Devil May Cry or anything
Well,
like
that's
that.
what I thought it was gonna be, 'cause that's what I like about Devil May Cry, that I'm not a huge Devil May Cry fan either, but the fact that you're, like, in it and then you start and then you can do these combos, you can, like, throw them in the
Yeah.
air and shoot them in the air, and then do all this, like, cool things, like, right out of the bat, right? Like, out of the gate, you are able to do all these things, but here it was like, "Okay, we do some combos and then dodge and then parry." There was I don't know, I
Yeah.
maybe I'm just hating on it, but it just didn't grab me, and I was just like, I don't know if I would pay for this, like,
It's
to
not
have
just
this
you
mediocre
though.
experience.
It's me too. Cause I'm thinking the hits don't hit. It's like
Yeah,
they go through. If you know
right.
what I mean, like and that was
Mhm.
kind of like a turn off for me. Like I was, I wasn't feeling
Yeah.
it. I don't know if it's because
I
of it's a demo. I mean, I don't know
could
if it's
be.
because of that. But
But you know what I like? So, I remember that game that we played, that was on Game Pass, it was Atom no, was it
Titanfall.
Atomic, something. It was a first person shooter. We were talking about it the other day that you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to grab the stuff, it automatically opens up the drawers with one button, and you don't have to like
Yep.
open up each individual thing. Atomic something. Atomic.
It's
Uh,
Atomic. I'm looking for it. Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart. Yeah. What I really like about that game is whenever you do a melee, which I was expecting kind of something like that in this game, you can see where you're slicing through on the opponent, right? And you can see like the slice of like, let's say you have a sword
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
slicing through it. You can see on the metal like how how it like splits the metal open where you hit. And I
Oh
think
wow.
those level of I don't know if you noticed that, but yeah,
I
like
didn't
that's what
notice
like
that.
whenever
So should I play it again?
go back and see like whenever you're fighting like metallic things, you can see where you hit is actually the split of the sword or whatever you're hitting it with. And so that's I feel like that level of detail, we're at a point where we can do that. And I feel like a lot of games, I feel like this game, that's what I was expecting it in my head. I'm like, oh, because I heard the combat was pretty
Mm-hmm.
good, right? And I was expecting it to be like in depth at least.
Yeah.
And again, maybe I'm in the beginning and I'm just not giving it a chance all the way. But I don't know if it was enough for me to be like, wow, I really want to continue this game.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
yeah,
and
we'll see.
and I was thinking of Avowed too. Just like you were thinking of Atomic Heart, I was thinking of Avowed, of the way that
Mm,
the combat is there. That whenever you hit one of the enemies, like you see the
yeah,
hit, like it's not just going through. I don't know if it's because of that little pause that it does when you hit someone,
yeah,
right? But that makes a difference. And to me,
right,
I
right.
guess that didn't register for me in Stellar Blade. So
And that's probably why I feel like that. Maybe from what you're saying. Maybe that's why my impression feels like a game from a long time ago that they couldn't add those details. They couldn't do all those things back in the
mm,
days,
yeah,
right? And so maybe that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, it just feels like empty almost because, like you said, you just doing these combos, but it doesn't have an impact. And it's just, and then you know, I don't I don't know why games do this, especially in a game that's super linear like this, but if you kill the enemy, then they just disappear. The the enemies should stay there, right? This is super linear. It's not like you have the population of like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of things, in the way. So it's why did those little details are super annoying with games like these. Because even in Wukong, did they disappear?
oh,
Oh, maybe they did. Yeah, I think in Wukong they did disappear
I mean, in most
as well.
games, to be honest,
Yeah,
in most games, they
they
do
do. Yeah,
disappear. They don't stay.
but I feel with linear games that shouldn't be the case anymore. You should be able to have enough memory in your or design your architecture in your game should allocate enough memory for those things because there are other games who that are way bigger that are able to remember things like that,
I know where you're
right?
going. I know where you're going.
So,
Uh, what's the name
but
of
yeah,
Elder Scrolls, right?
Elder
Oblivion.
Scrolls, yeah.
Yeah,
You do something and
Oblivion,
the game
Skyrim,
remembers where you
hmm
are. I mean, Bethesda games in
Starfield.
general, right? Because Starfield's like that too. Like I remember I had a stack of books, like a
Yeah.
huge stack of books in my ship, and then, like it stayed like that the whole time. And
hmm
whenever I flew, like the stack of books would like fall over because you took off, and it would remember
Wow,
where all the books were.
that's crazy.
So, like that makes it very interesting. You're like, oh wow, this is like a living world. It's not just a NPC in the game kind of thing. But I get it. I understand that this is a different type of game, right? So I'm not gonna judge it to that extent. But it's the combat itself was not enough, and like I was expecting more from the combat, like you,
Yeah, me too.
and it just wasn't enough for me to be like, wow, this is
No.
an awesome game.
Yeah. Well,
So
any
anyway.
other games that you played other than that?
No, I finished that one. I really haven't. I mean, besides Warzone with you, the a couple of times that we played, but other than that, nah, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't jumped into anything just yet because I just finished that. Literally, I've got all the achievements like 2, 3 days ago, so I haven't played anything since then
Except one.
except one. Yeah, yeah, minus one.
All right, so then I guess let's get into it with the topic of the show today, which again is the predictions for the show on Sunday, the Xbox Showcase.
Yeah,
Um,
baby.
so I'm gonna start with. Let me see, which one should I start with? Um, let's start with this one. Do you think Call of Duty will be shown there? Because usually by this time we would have known something about Call of Duty, right? They haven't even said or
Mm,
mentioned it at all. So I'm
yeah.
wondering if they were waiting to put it in this Xbox showcase or what's gonna happen. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're gonna do their own thing, how they've normally been doing it. I think the reason they did it last year was because it was the big thing, and they were gonna announce that it was gonna be in Game Pass, and it was an event, right? It was gonna be the first one that was gonna be in Game Pass, and it was the first one that was fully under Microsoft control at that point. So I think that's why they did that combination of the Call of Duty and the regular showcase, right? Um, and I think that they're just gonna do their own thing. Maybe at the end of the month, maybe like a Call of Duty thing, or maybe next month. Just to kind of how they do that every year, right? They do this like Call of Duty events, and so
Yeah.
It was only last year that they did it that in combination with Xbox, but usually they do it on their own. So
Well, I
yeah,
I
I don't
think
think
they're
they're gonna.
gonna show something. They may not. They're not gonna go that deep into it, right? Because this year it's Outer Worlds 2. That's the one that's
Right,
gonna go deep, after the showcase. But I
right.
do believe they're gonna show something from Call of Duty, and I don't just think it's gonna be Call of Duty, whatever, whatever, coming later this year. No, it's gonna be more than that. They're gonna probably show a trailer, maybe a minute or less. It could be, but I do
Yeah.
think they're gonna show it here.
I think if they do show it, it's gonna be one of those things that is gonna be a CGI trailer and be like more to come on this date, where they're gonna do a full blown event, kind of thing. I
I
don't think of it. Yeah,
I'm. It's not that I'm hopeful to see because again I don't do the multiplayer. I do the single player, the campaign. I do play that, but it's not like I'm looking forward to it every year. But
yeah,
I do think they're gonna show not a CG trailer, not something, not maybe a cutscene from the
mm,
game, from the campaign, but no CG trailer. No, 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 no. They know already not to do that. They haven't done that in a while. Um, Ever
yeah.
since they started doing gameplay only, they haven't done CG. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've put any CG in there. It's all been gameplay
Well,
or in game.
I don't mean like CG, but more like you remember that trailer that they had where they had the guy in the motorcycle like just riding um and I think that might have been a single player
I think that
part,
was the
but
in campaign.
uh yeah, so that's what I meant. Something like a trailer like that, where they would say like, okay, here's a like you said, a minute and a half or whatever
Yeah.
trailer, and then at the end of that trailer, it'd be like more to come on this date. Make sure to tune in for I don't know whatever it's called, Call of Duty Direct or whatever they call it. I don't remember, but I think that's what's gonna be the case if they do show it. But I don't know if they would mention it because they already set the precedence that Call of Duty is gonna come out on Game Pass and it's gonna be this thing. It's gonna be
Right.
this major thing. So
I mean,
I
every
don't think they need
every first
to.
party game will be on Game Pass, and they're still showing them,
No,
right? So Call of Duty is
yeah,
part of that. I do believe they're gonna show it.
but I feel that everybody knowing that that's a yearly thing that is coming out, like it's gonna come out at the end of the year. I think they can have their own thing later on and focus more on things that we haven't seen yet, or updates on things that we've seen but really haven't dug too deep into.
Mm,
But we'll see. Maybe they do have a little something.
I do think so. I'm not 100% sure, because you can't be
Yeah.
100%
Right.
sure with anything like that. But
Yeah.
I'm like 75% that they're gonna show something.
Okay.
I feel it. I feel it.
I'm 50-50, but
Oh,
so we'll see.
oh wow. All right. So so then after that, let's talk about so this game I mentioned last year, and I thought it was gonna. I really thought it was gonna be in there, and they were gonna show something of it, and it's Everwild. We haven't heard about this game
Mm,
for a
yeah,
while.
in a long
Yeah,
time.
and I'm wondering if they're gonna show it this year. And this is another one that I do believe they will show. This one I'm 50-50 though.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they're gonna show. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on with this game, and
Yeah,
they don't even talk about it to at least say it's still in development. So we have no idea at
right.
all. If it is still in development and it's still coming out, I think they're gonna show it this year. If they don't show it this year, then we're gonna start thinking, okay, that game is not coming out then.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if from what I've understood, right, and I know that you probably heard this before too, that they supposedly revamped or rebooted
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
the type of game. But as of right now, it's been what, 4 years
It's
since
been a
they've
while.
mentioned
Didn't they show
something,
this
right?
before the Series X came out? Right?
I don't know. I don't know if it was shown before, but it's been a minute since anything has happened, right? So at that point, they if you, and I'm with you on that. If they don't mention anything here, I don't think it's coming out. I don't think
Mhm.
because it's been way too long to not mention anything, and maybe they'll mention what Rare moved on to rather than
Right.
what they've been working on. You know, like this is what's coming out from Rare rather than like this is what we've been working on.
Yeah, they should say,
So
this game, it's not coming out for this reason or the other. It could be, okay, well, this game is not the game you saw when we first showed it. It's a
right,
different game now, and we're still working on it. We don't have anything to show you. I mean, they're not gonna go that deep into it, but it could be a blog. It doesn't have to be in the showcase. They could just write it
yeah.
down and post it, and that's it.
Dude, the crazy thing is that there's so many studios.
Hmm.
How how do you I get that there were things mentioned already, but even the with the things mentioned and kind of what some of the other studios that we've never heard from in the last couple of years, what they've been working on, it just seems like there's just too much content, technically, right? Or at least that's the impression that when you have like, I don't know how many studios, they have like 30 something studios now, right?
Something
Under
like
the
that.
Microsoft umbrella.
Yeah.
I mean, if you show just 10 of those games, that's, you put what, 20, 30, 3 minutes for each game, that's 30 minutes right there just in 10 games, right? And that's assuming that there's not a lot of other stuff, right? I'm sure there's going to be tons of announcements for Game Pass, and there's going to be tons of announcements from third party as well, and tons of announcements from potential hardware. There's just a lot of stuff. And I don't know if I would say that they would probably choose anywhere between like maybe somewhere around eight first party games that they would discuss. The rest would be just a combination of what I just said, you know?
Third party
Um,
games that will also, some of them will come to Game Pass. And I can't
right.
wait to see
And
those.
even
Those are going to be the surprises because we don't know. We know what
yeah,
Microsoft is working on. So they got to talk about, let's say, eight of those games. But for the third party is what we don't know what they're going to show.
yeah.
And then we
And
won't
s
know which will come to Game Pass. So can't wait for those too.
and the thing too is that, they've been pretty close with a lot of big other publishers recently, right? Like Sega, they've been really tight with Sega recently. And they've been really tight with, Ubisoft as well. There's been good vibes with these companies, and a lot of those games have been on Game Pass, so there's good relations between them, and so they can also set the stage and be like, "Hey, instead of Sega having their own event, why don't we just combine it with what we have, and we talk about your games as well, and how this is
Mhm.
coming in to our platform or even Game Pass or whatever it may be, right?" So, yeah, no, there's a lot. So we'll see. They have they said how long it's going? Is it going to be like
I don't
last time,
think
like an hour
I
and
don't
then
think they've
45
said yet.
minutes? No, okay.
Yeah. Now real quick, because I did say in this one, I'm hoping just to see if it's a real game still, and what kind of game it is. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
it's in there. So I'm more into, yes, it's gonna be there. What do you think? Is it gonna be there or is it not? Everwild.
Wait, what? Which
Everwild.
game? Yes, I think I think something from Rare is going to be there, whether it's Everwild or another game. Maybe they moved on, right? I don't know, but
Without
something
counting
from
Sea of
Rare.
Thieves.
Without count, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
not Sea
All
of
right.
Thieves. I think
Yeah, because
something
I mean, Sea
new
of Thieves
or
could be
Everwild,
there.
right? So yeah, either Sea of the sorry, either Everwild or some whatever the other project they move on to from Rare. But I think Rare will definitely be here. Not about Sea of Thieves, but about a new project.
Okay. Now you mentioned Sega, right, earlier, and
Yeah,
you mentioned Ubisoft, which I had in my list. We're gonna get to it later, but Sega I didn't have in my list. But once you mentioned it, I remembered that they are coming out with a couple of new games Crazy Taxi.
Yeah,
Man,
forgot
I
about
forgot.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, let me see what the other ones are. I'm trying to look for it
I've
in
I've
real time
heard
here.
also rumors of Persona 6. I've
That's true.
heard rumors about that.
And I've heard rumors of Persona 5 remake.
Also yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a remake? I mean, that didn't come out too long ago. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, and then also this. I mean, Sega. There's a lot under Sega right now. So and I don't know if there will be another Sonic game anytime soon, but maybe.
I mean, it's been a
Um,
while since Sonic. What is it? Frontier, the open zone one that they did. It was a couple. It's
yeah,
been a
it hasn't
couple of
been
years.
like 2-3 years. It hasn't been that long.
I mean, they
I think.
could at least announce it and show
Yeah.
something. I don't see why not.
What would be cool, and this is this is a stretch, but it would be cool now with the new like arcade service that they have if they can take all the old Sega games and then kind of bring them into that. That would be really cool, right? Because you have like
Yeah,
old school Sonic, old school Virtual Fighter, old school like was Double Dragon them? I don't remember if it was them or not, but anyway, like like the old school like 1990 early
yeah.
90s
Early
type of
'90s.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Sega because they had a lot of heavy hitters back then. So it would be cool if they could
I could see
have a
that.
partnership where they bring kind of section or
I
not
could see
arcade.
that.
What do they
I,
call it? Retro, the retro gaming thing.
yeah, I could see that happening.
So,
I didn't even think about that. So,
uh,
uh, it could be where they come on stage and at least have a splash screen of the titles that will be coming
yeah,
to the retro classics app. But even if it's not all in the same day, but for the future, because
yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of games. Just spread them out. Now, when you mentioned Sega, I wasn't even thinking about those games. I was thinking about the games that they mentioned, that they announced recently, which again is Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and there's the other two. Damn.
Virtual Fighter is Sega, right? And they haven't done
No,
a Virtual
that's
Fighter in
the
a while.
on. Well, there was a teaser, right, that they showed for Virtual
Yeah,
Fighter.
somewhere.
That they could show that here too.
Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe
Um,
put a date or just more info on the game.
what's the other game? Axe something Axe.
Mm, that
Uh,
yeah, I'm not sure.
uh,
AXE?
yeah, it was a Sega Genesis game. I remember I didn't like it, but they're remaking that. Let me see.
Uh,
Axe. No, it's not on here. But yeah, I mean, they could show one of these games that they had shown before. And Golden Axe, yeah, Golden Axe. Remember that?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I vaguely remember the name.
yeah, they're
Oh
remaking that
man,
too.
okay.
They're remaking. Is Shinobi theirs? No.
Shinobi. Yeah.
Yeah, but we already seen Shinobi, so we know how it's gonna be. But yeah, so maybe
Yeah, it is Sega. Is it Sega? Hold on. Shinobi Striker. Yeah, by Sega. Yeah, yeah,
say okay, but we've already seen um gameplay and
yeah, yeah,
all of that, so we don't they don't need to show that here. So hopefully they do show Crazy Taxi or Jet Set Radio, one of those that I'm interested in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that I think that yeah, given the partnership that they've had recently and the success between that partnership recently, right? I think we do see a good chunk of Sega stuff. I don't
Right?
think Sega's going to do their own thing, but I think that they
No,
would use
they haven't.
that as a partner.
They have they ever had uh, a showcase? I don't think so.
No, but I think at E3 they had like a little because every it
A
was the three
booth.
major companies, but a lot of like Ubisoft and EA
Yeah, yeah.
also did their own like smaller showcases. But I don't remember, to be honest, if Sega also did some of those things, but they are a massive publisher, so
Yeah,
they
they
have
have
a
so
lot
many
of
games.
stuff under their belt. Yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned Ubisoft again. So
Yeah.
let's get into that because they don't have a Ubisoft Forward this year. They already announced that they're not going to do that.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, okay, well, I'm guessing they're not doing that because they don't have many games to show. It's not worth it. If you have
Right.
one or just two games to show them, either on Xbox or PlayStation, which PlayStation already had theirs
Yep.
today, and I didn't see any Ubisoft games in there. So it could be
Mm.
on Summer Game Fest too. So I bring this
Oh,
up.
did you watch the State of Play
I was mostly listening to
here and
it,
there?
but I
Yeah.
didn't see
Anything
anything.
interesting?
No, no,
No?
no.
Okay.
I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there was no games for me. That's how it is. Like if there's at least one
Yeah.
game for me, I'm like, okay, well at least, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So Ubisoft they tweeted here
Oh, yes, I
this.
know. 100%. That is happening 100%, bro. That is
So they
we are gonna
tweeted,
see Sam Fisher for sure.
yeah.
Some capacity in this.
Yeah, so they tweeted a
Yeah.
a profile picture from Splinter Cell of Sam Fisher, and all they put on there is the eyes with the mouth, and then hashtag Splinter Cell. So why
Yep.
would they do that? Because they have something. Now,
Yep.
where are they going to show it? Is it either at Xbox or a Summer Game Fest? I'm hoping or I'm thinking the Xbox one
Yeah.
because
I
they go
it's Yep.
back to the
Mhm.
original Xbox. Splinter Cell
Mhm.
1 came out on the Xbox only, and I don't think it's come out anywhere else, right? Other than PC, I think. It never
Right.
came to
No,
PlayStation.
I think it eventually did come to PlayStation, the
Okay.
first one.
All right. Well, it was
I'm not
exclusive.
mistaken, but
It was exclusive
yeah,
to the
for a
Xbox
while.
for a long time. And
Yep.
so maybe they're going back to, okay, you know what? We have this partnership or history, let's say, with Xbox.
Yeah.
So let's tweet this out and let's give Xbox a little something they could show, even though it may not be
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much. Maybe this one I would say that it could be a CG something. I don't think it's gonna be gameplay. I think it's a little early.
no, I think it would be gameplay because it's a
Really?
remake. It's not a
I
new
mean,
game.
yeah, it's a
So
remake, but
I think they have enough assets to, and I think if they're talking about it now, they're not gonna just put a CG trailer. Like they're gonna have gameplay. Maybe not a super in-depth
no,
gameplay, but they will show gameplay.
at least of how it's gonna
I,
look, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
true. You know what? You're right, because they had already announced this game, so it's not
yeah.
like they're announcing the game with um, a CG or just the name of the game. I think they should. I
Right.
mean, if you want hype, I mean, because there's hype already. People are waiting for this. So if you want
Yep.
more hype, go ahead and show not a gameplay, demo or anything like that, but show um, like a flash of different places where the game is going to be taking place, or
Yeah.
even just the one level, different screenshots or something like that, different, or maybe a fly through of the level with Sam Fisher there taking somebody out or something like that.
I think they would do, which is very common in these kind of things, like a before and after scene, right? Where
Sure.
they like side by side, right? This is like how it used to look, and this is kind of the new look. Man, that that game still holds up. If you look at it today, sure, it's gonna be a little blurry, but just the mechanics of that game still holds up, right? Because it was very light driven. You had to be in the dark all the time, and you could like be against a wall in the dark, and then the enemy walks by, and then you just grab them. That game still holds up. I think to today, when you look at the lighting and you look at the mechanics, obviously the polygon count and all that stuff is not gonna look as nice, but uh, like go back. You see it, bro. Like this still looks pretty good for when it came out and what it's able to do. But I am super excited, and I think this is 100% going to be in the show, in the Xbox show. I don't think it's going to be in the Game Fest or whatever the other thing's called. I think it's
Yeah,
this is an Xbox game, you know?
yeah. I'm thinking more it's gonna be on the Xbox showcase because, I mean,
Yeah.
the goggles are green, the
Yeah.
lights are
Oh,
green. It's
yeah.
gotta
Right.
be there.
Everything's yeah. You know the way they're gonna introduce that, you're just gonna hear that,
Yeah,
you know, yeah, and
yeah.
then that's how you
A
know.
black screen, and then you'll see the three lights of the goggles.
Yeah,
Yeah, that I
yeah,
mean,
dude.
don't just do that. Like, start it with that, and then show the
Right.
game.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I have a yeah. That I think that's one of the things that from what I was mentioning, the third party stuff, that is gonna be one of the big things that we're gonna be like, okay, finally they're showing it. Maybe they give a date, maybe they don't. But
And
I think they will show
2026 probably.
something.
They'll show a year. I don't think they'll show a date.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that very much. So
All right, so let's get to the next one then, because now we're gonna get into if this is really gonna happen, which I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm already ready to see this in the Xbox showcase, and it's, are they gonna show the PlayStation logo at the end of a trailer, or somewhere? Or are they gonna mention this is also coming to PlayStation? Are they gonna mention PlayStation?
I think they're gonna mention all platforms. That's how they're gonna go. This is coming to all platforms.
Mm,
Or maybe they do it in the beginning. Remember how last year they were like every single game you see here today is gonna be in Game Pass or something to that extent. I forget what they did, but they did like like messaging before
right.
the show started, right? So they probably will do something like that. Like every game that you see today is gonna be on all platforms. Day one on Game Pass. Da da da. Right? Maybe they do something like that.
I, I don't know if they could say that, because what if one of the games comes to PlayStation and Xbox but not Switch? Because Switch is a platform. So
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it is that's a thing, right? All these games will be even on the Switch, on the
right,
Switch
but
2 at least.
that's what I'm trying to say. What if the game is not gonna be on the Switch too? They can't say all platforms.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
So that's what I'm
So
thinking. The way
yeah,
they
if they're
would
gonna
do
do
it,
that, then yeah,
say in the beginning, you know what? As you already know, we're putting games out there on other platforms, and we're not hiding that anymore. Whatever game is coming to any other platform, it'll say it, at the end of the trailer.
right.
Just talk. Just say what it is. Don't walk around it. Don't dance around it. Just say it. If you say that
I
at the
feel that
beginning and then we see it later on, we're not gonna be surprised.
I forget if it was last year or if it was in the developer direct or whatever it was, but they did do something like that in the beginning. They just said all of these games are going to be whatever, whatever. Either I think it was day one on game, or it's going to be on Game Pass. So that way they didn't have to say after every game like,
Right, right,
oh,
right.
this is also on Game Pass. This is also So it's like maybe in the beginning they say this is coming out for all platforms or it's coming out for Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and then just like initiate with that. So you don't have so you get that out of the way. You don't have to mention every single game. And I think we understand that every game is gonna be everywhere
Yeah.
now. That I don't think that's a secret anymore, right? Or so at that point, just get it out of the way.
Right.
People are not gonna be questioning it, and everybody can get excited for these games that are coming out everywhere. And then you can get the game wherever you want.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's to me it would be better if they just put it at the end of the trailer. Just put on which systems this is coming out to, or for. So that way we know exactly, because if you say all platforms at the beginning, but then one of the games is not gonna be on Switch, then people are gonna be like, you said this, and that's not the
yeah,
case for this game. So just be transparent.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to. You already know. We all already know everything that you're making. Even if you haven't said it, we know it's coming to
Yeah.
PlayStation and
I
maybe even the
I
Switch
feel
too.
that every game will come out
Oh yeah.
on all platforms, and
Even if
I
it's
mean,
later
including
on.
Switch, is what I'm saying.
Oh, including Switch
I
too.
I
Every
think it's
game.
gonna yes, I think every
I
game
don't
that
think
they have
so.
there. Yeah, because think about it, like, the latest or the nearest game for launch right now, right? If you think about, okay, well, we have Perfect Dark, which originated in Nintendo, right? So that to me fits. Okay, Perfect Dark could release in Nintendo Switch too because that's the origins of that game. And then Doom, well that already came out, but uh, that can run on that. They've released the previous Dooms on the Switch One,
Yeah.
right? So I think the Switch Two now has enough power to run most of these games, especially since they're gonna be like 720p, to be honest, because it's a little screen, right? And it
Yeah.
doesn't. You can take away a bunch of stuff to optimize it a little bit better. But if Cyberpunk is coming out for the Switch too,
Bro.
every other game can come out for it too. So
You know what?
yeah, I
Until you said that, I
yeah,
was gonna ask you, and you think Gears of War E Day is gonna run on the Switch too? And you just said Cyberpunk, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe,
right.
maybe, maybe.
I think it
Okay,
can, because it's gonna be, watered down, right? But it's still gonna be
yeah,
able to run. It doesn't have to run
it
at
won't have.
how it's gonna run everywhere else. It would be a 30 FPS and it'll be like 720p and it'll probably have less particles in the screen and all this other stuff, but it'll run. If they made Doom run and if they
I
made
mean, Doom
Cyberpunk run and they made.
Doom runs on a fridge, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, the original Doom, not the new Doom.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I had
Yeah,
to
yeah.
specify. Okay, so we mentioned a game that I was gonna mention here too, and we only have a few more to go through, but Gears of War. I know Gears of War Reloaded
Yeah,
is gonna be shown. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be shown because we haven't seen it other than the few screenshots they put out.
yeah,
But we need to see it in
I agree.
motion. We need to see how it really, really looks. And so
And the
I think we
multiplayer.
are gonna see. I don't know if they'll show multiplayer, but if they do, I'm good with it. I want to see everything about the
Yeah,
game. So I do believe this is gonna be shown in the Xbox
yeah,
Showcase. Are you?
I agree. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
100. I think that is very certain that it's going to be there
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
What
Now, E-Day,
about
that's a different
what?
story.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I know they're gonna show Reloaded. I don't think they're gonna show E-Day. They're not gonna
right,
want to show both when just one is gonna come out this year. That they're
right.
gonna leave that for next year. It could be in the January developer direct, maybe the earliest. That's the
Mm,
earliest we'll see it. We'll see it, but I just don't see it here. So
that's if it
bummer.
comes out before June of next year,
And that's
right?
I'm
Yeah,
hoping. I don't know. That's gonna be kind of too close to Reloaded, because Reloaded comes out in August, and then
of
what?
this
Six
year.
months? Yeah, and then 6 months later, the E Day.
Yeah,
I don't see that. That's a big game. That's one of the biggest IPs they have. So I'm sure it'll be
yeah.
fall.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that's coming out next year.
Here we go, bro. Yeah.
They just last year they just showed you a
Oh my
trailer
god.
of in-game assets. It's not
Let's move
really,
on, bro. Let's the next game here. So the next game, Starfield. I wanted to talk about that because Starfield has two DLCs and one came out already. Right? There's
Mhm,
two, right?
yeah.
Okay. Now the
Um, but I don't know about the second one. That hasn't released or anything.
no, it hasn't released, and that's my point. I think
Oh
here's where
yeah,
they're gonna show the new DLC, and if
yeah,
they show Starfield DLC for the Series X, they're gonna mention when that's coming to PlayStation because I'm pretty sure
yeah.
it's gonna be this year.
I think so too. I think later in the
Yeah.
year. I think by like maybe not like December, but September, somewhere
Yeah,
around there. I
something
think
like that.
it'll on PlayStation as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm fine with that because I have been looking forward to jumping back into. I haven't jumped into it in a while, And I really like that game, obviously, and so I really want to go back into that world again and just explore. I hope that they do substantial updates on the DLC, not just so what they did with the Shattered Space was isolated to one area,
Right.
but I hope they do more things outside of that, right? So the more things to explore, more things that you can scan in this world, more things that happen outside of just that isolated DLC, whatever that may be. So I'm hoping that they do a substantial. And it's been a while since they've done a
Yeah.
major update. They've done the DLC, but it's been a while since they've done a major overhaul or major impact update, essentially. So I do think, like you, that that is going to be shown in some capacity here.
And if it's shown, you do believe they're gonna, mention PlayStation
With
and the release date
yes,
for that. Okay.
yes.
Now, what if they don't have a DLC yet or they don't have any announcements for the DLC yet? Are they still gonna mention Starfield for PlayStation?
I think they have DLC. It's been a long
What
time. I
if?
don't.
It's just a
I
what if.
Okay. So what if not? Then yes, they're going to announce that this is coming. No, yeah, that's a good point. Because why would they
Ah,
announce that it's coming? They probably leave that for
exactly.
later. Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably will not have mentioned that in here.
Yeah, that's my point too. And this is why I wanted to see what you were gonna say, because to me, if they don't have a DLC for this, for the Xbox, and it's
Yeah,
just that it's gonna come out for the PlayStation later on,
they do it
don't
later
don't put it
time.
in
Yeah,
here. You know, it
I agree. Yeah.
put everything that's coming on the Xbox here, even if it's coming to PlayStation.
Hmm.
But don't put something that's just coming on PlayStation
Yeah.
and nothing for the Xbox. You don't want to do that.
Right.
That's at least give us that much respect, right? For the
Yeah.
Xbox fans. That's it. We're not
But I
asking
think
too
they would do
much.
that because how did they do? Yeah, because they did that with um,
Uh,
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones. Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they
do it
did it
that
their
way.
own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That way, I'm
that I'm
fine with
cool
it.
with. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I think that's good. Now, okay, before we move on to the next thing,
Go
now
ahead.
going back to Ubisoft,
Okay.
right? I feel from what I've read or that I've seen some rumors or something like that that they're strengthening their partnership with Xbox and Microsoft, Ubisoft, and they
Ooh.
are going through some hardships right now,
Oh,
financial hardships,
here we
right?
go. Here we go.
It would be really, really dope if they at Ubisoft Play,
Yeah,
I think
you
it's called,
play.
or Uplay
Yes,
to
just
Game
like
Pass.
EA
So you have
Play. Is it you
EA,
play?
yeah. I don't
But
know, whatever it's called, but that service, if
ooh,
they can combine it with and then yeah, sure, add a few more dollars to the service just to have that tier or whatever it is. That would be really good. And I think that given the financial situations of Ubisoft, there's a possibility. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, and I don't predict to be like, oh yeah, for this is uh like 100% happening. But I feel that given all the factors of what's going on at Ubisoft and their service, and how I assume EA has had a really good run with Game Pass because
it's
it's
been
still
there
there
since
after
day
all
one.
these years. Yeah, so they must be doing something. They must be benefiting from that as well. So that would be super great if they can add
Bro,
that, and that would be basically the all of gaming would be there
they
technically.
have. I
You
mean, they
know,
do have good games, right? And we have
yeah,
some of them games um,
already,
on
yeah.
Game Pass already, right? But it
Hmm.
will be a big win for us gamers if they put Ubisoft Play in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude, it would be really good. So I that and normally I wouldn't bet on it, but the fact that all the stuff that's been happening at Ubisoft
yeah,
financially, I think that's an easy like money making from them, right?
yep,
Because they
yep.
still have their service, but then now they can add it onto this other thing and just kind of get constant revenue from there. in addition to being selling their games. It's not like it's exclusive to this to Game Pass, right?
And
So if they can get a little bit constant money, that would
yeah,
be great.
and I believe they have two tiers. One is for, you get the new games day one, but the other one you don't. In the other one, you get the games later. I don't know how long later, but we could get the
Yeah,
one that you don't get day one. I mean,
yeah,
so that way they still sell the games on day
right.
one when they come out. They don't have to put them on Game Pass right away.
And I think that's also doesn't EA have that as well, or
EA
is
does
that
that too.
not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
EA does that
'cause
too.
the one on Game Pass is like the one that comes out months later. But
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that,
like 6 months or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm totally fine with that because
yeah.
one, I don't really play their sports game to care enough for
Right.
roster updates and all that stuff. And then I can just wait for the other games.
Yes.
It's not a
Split
big deal.
Fiction is gonna come on Game Pass. It's gonna come to Game Pass in a
Yeah,
couple of months, I'll say.
right. And a lot of those things is I don't mind waiting for these type of games. And I know that imagine if the next Battlefield, or at least from EA, is going to be free to play, the multiplayer part. I don't know. Heard of rumors that they were going to have something equivalent to like Warzone that's free. Not exactly like Warzone, but it's going to be like a section of the multiplayer player that would be free. So
Mm.
maybe they do something like that, and then that would be open to everyone. But I would love to, honestly. I mean, I'm not a huge like Ubisoft fan, but I would love to go back to like Ghost Recon. Like that was one of my favorite games growing up from then, and just to be able to go back and just it's an easy entry, and it's easy for me to tell you or anybody else, be like, hey, bro, let's just go try this game really quick because now it's just part of the service. Like I don't have to go out and buy the game. I don't have to do any of this stuff, and then it's just and then Ubisoft gets money because we're trying the game out. you know,
So
so
so Ghost Recon Wildlands is on Game Pass.
no, but I'm talking
That
about
one,
like the
oh, the old ones.
Wild. Yeah, Ghost Recon 3. Yeah, no, hold on.
The one on 360?
Yeah, the one on
Oh, gotcha.
360.
Okay, okay.
I don't remember
You're talking
which
about GRAW,
one.
Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That one was, dude, that was such a good game. Oh my goodness. I remember playing that, and that was the first time where, if
Advanced
I
Warfighter. Yeah.
remember correctly, it felt like the Division. Like
Hmm.
you're covering behind walls and you're throwing grenades and you're throwing the little drone. I remember, was it a drone? Maybe it wasn't a drone, but it was some grenades that I remember throwing that it would like follow certain enemies. And I remember that was kind of like when I played uh, the Division, it immediately took me back to that time. It reminded me so much of
Yeah.
Ghost Recon at that time.
We didn't mention that we started playing the Division 2, but we'll leave that for
Oh
another.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
We'll,
forgot about that.
we'll play more and then we'll talk about it. Okay. So any predictions that you want to mention in, because I've mentioned quite a few. I don't know if
Yeah,
you have one.
I feel that we will see Blade in some capacity.
Really? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
To
don't
me,
know,
it seems early.
because but we didn't see anything,
Right, but
right? We
somehow,
just all it was a CGI of him getting a haircut. That's it. That's all it
yeah.
was, and or getting shaved or whatever it was. I feel that we hear something. I'm not gonna say that we see gameplay or anything, but I feel like maybe we get some sort of update on what's happening
Okay.
for Blade. Um, you think that we don't hear anything
I
from
don't
that?
think so. I
No.
just
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's far fetched because I know they only talked
Yeah.
about it. Like, was it last year? Would they
No, I think it was 2 years ago
2
where
years
they
ago?
showed
Okay.
that CG trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So maybe it's a little too early, but I have a I have a feeling that we might hear something about it. I also feel that we we will see. Um, when is Tony Hawk coming out?
Oh, that's July, so like
Okay,
a month
so
after.
I think that we will see like them adding Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 to Game Pass, which is not there right now. So I think we do hear and see that they're gonna add that. I feel maybe Horizon, Forza Horizon will have some sort of show here as well.
Okay, so you're dreaming, bro.
It's been a few years now. Forza Horizon 5, it's been like
Yes,
4 years.
it's
4 or 5
for
years.
us, right? But it just came out on PlayStation. So I don't know
Doesn't
if that,
matter.
because I'm thinking the next Forza Horizon is gonna be day one on PlayStation also. So them just
Yeah,
yeah, so them just releasing Forza Horizon 5, right? 5 on
yeah.
PlayStation, what, a month ago or 2 months ago? I don't know if they want to do the next one this year, right
Well,
after
I'm not
this
saying
one
it's
being
gonna
on
be
PlayStation.
this year. I'm just
Oh,
saying that they're gonna announce it,
I don't see that
you know?
either. I don't see that either. I mean, if it's not
And
going to be
dude,
this
it's been
year, why
almost 5
why announce
years.
it? Just wait.
But it's gonna be almost 5 years since the game
Yeah.
has come out, you know?
But then if you announce it now, like I don't know, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Okay. Alright, that's fair.
I mean, that's
But,
okay.
yeah,
It's
so
predictions, right? It's my
right,
prediction.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. The other ones that,
Oh, sorry.
I also have a
Before you
yeah.
go to the next one, because you mentioned Tony Hawk 1 and 2 being what? Either shadow dropped or soon after the Xbox showcase, right?
Yeah. I
I
think
don't
it's
see
gonna be
that
part of,
either.
like, the Game Pass. Maybe not during the show, but maybe shortly after, like you said, they're going to announce like, "Hey, we're now releasing these games on Game Pass today." Like, this library or these few games are gonna be there. They're gonna do something available today on
Okay,
Game
but
Pass
it's
for
not gonna be
something.
Tony Hawk. I don't think
Maybe,
it will
maybe
be,
not.
because
Yeah,
why would you put out Tony Hawk 1 and 2 when 3 and 4 is coming out pretty soon? You want people to just play 3 and 4. If you
but
put out
that's
1 and
why.
2, okay, but if you put out 1 and 2, people are going to play those and they're going to be tired by the time 3 and 4 come out, and they may not play
Nah,
right away. They want the player count on day 1. So they want the most players to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 on that day 1 at least. They could put it out after that, but I just don't see it before that.
I don't know. I if they put it out right, I would play those, and then when 2 and 3, it would just give me more amped to do 2 and 3 to continue that high from the Tony Hawk games, you know?
I don't know.
I think for me, personally, for me,
Yeah,
but,
for you,
yeah, that doesn't mean that everybody's
because
gonna look at it like that,
right.
but if you're a fan of the Tony Hawk games enough to be like, "Oh, man, I'm excited about this," you're gonna be excited about playing 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row.
So that's why I'm probably thinking the way I'm thinking, because I'm not a fan of those games. I enjoyed those games. Well, 1 and 2. I don't know if I played
Yeah,
3, and I'm pretty sure I didn't play 4 or the Undergrounds one.
yeah, I played
So
all of
for
them.
me, if you put out 1 and 2, I'm gonna play 1 and 2. But when 3 comes out, I might, boot it up just to see how different it
Yeah.
looks from 1 and 2, but I'm not gonna be playing it much.
Oh, you never got 1 and 2 original when it first came out, did you?
Yeah, I played it on the Dreamcast.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
No, 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 no. Sorry, when the remake
Oh, the
or the
remakes? No, no, no.
remasters came
I did not.
uh,
No.
yeah, so I got those day 1. And, this
Yeah, I
was
remember you told me.
pre-acquisition, of, like, Microsoft acquisition, all that stuff. So, I didn't 100% complete it, but I beat all the levels again, and I did it with, like, more than half of the skaters, and I created my own
Mm,
skater, and I did all that
wow.
stuff. That is, like, an awesome game, and yeah, I would be hyped up to continue with it's because now it would be I played it on the Xbox. So if they add it, now they would add it to the PC. And then I could do get the mods, get a bunch of other stuff. That's great about the PC part. And so I would totally try it again on PC.
All right.
So but yeah.
Well,
Okay. So my
yeah.
other last
Go ahead.
one,
Go ahead.
prediction. I feel, and this is a far fetch, but I have a gut feeling that we will see a Banjo-Kazooie like in this event. Something from Banjo-Kazooie's world, we see it in this event. Either a remaster of the original games, kind of how they did like Spiral and Crash,
Okay.
kind of in that realm, or a new announced entry. I think that we will see something like that.
Okay. And are you also thinking that's gonna be from Toys for Bob?
If it's a remake, yes, but if it's
A
a new
remaster?
game,
Oh, new game?
no. If it's a new entry,
Okay.
probably Rare.
Huh. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So what I'll say to that is that, man, like I want to say yes, we're gonna see Banjo, but we've been hoping for so long,
I know. I know.
and it's just never there. And even I believe Phil Spencer, he had a shirt with Banjo on it,
Yeah,
right? Once in a while ago, and still like that, he was just teasing, like nothing happened with that.
yeah.
So I'm gonna say no to Banjo being on the Xbox Showcase in any form.
Hmm.
If I'll say okay, so not in any form, but if he's there, it's not gonna be his whole game. It's he's gonna be, and I can't really think of which other game could he be in. Oh, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. They could say
Yeah.
it's a like a character there that you can use to skate.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Mm,
but I just
interesting.
don't see like a remaster or a
Yeah.
remake or a new game.
The only reason I say that, right, is because in the past, I would say it would never happen only because there weren't enough studios at Microsoft to be able to dedicate time to that. And then two, I don't know if there were any interested studios to be like, "Hey, I want to do this," right? But there has been some tweets or something like that where some of the directors from like Toys for was it Toys for Bob or whatever that company is, they were like, yeah, we would be super interested in doing that, right? And so when you have a studio that's like, hey, we're kind of interested and we would love to work on that, I feel like maybe there's something going on there already. um and that's super far fetched, I know, but I think I would hope that there will be something, because if you think about it, besides Crash, that's they don't Microsoft doesn't have any of those platformers like that. I mean, they have Ori, but that's more like a
I mean,
what's it called?
Psychonauts,
Like oh yeah,
and they
Psychonauts.
have
And
Blinks.
also, yeah, but Blinks hasn't been a thing for decades now.
Exactly, but they
Yeah,
have it. They
yeah,
have it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Is that owned by Microsoft? That game?
I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. The
Yeah,
IP or whatever. Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, now that you mentioned Psychonauts, right? We haven't heard anything from what is it, Double Fine?
Double Fine. I think they'll
Yeah,
be here. I think they'll
yeah.
show whatever they're working on next. And Double Fine could be the ones working on Banjo.
That's true too.
Could be them
Yeah,
too.
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the there was another game that they had shown. Oh, Contraband. Like we haven't heard anything
Oh
from that
yeah.
in a long time
I don't think that's gonna be here.
since they announced it. We've never heard
Mhm.
anything from
No,
that.
we have not at all.
So that would be
Uh,
kind of interesting if they show that.
all right. Well, I have three more games. I'm just gonna say the names of the games, and then you tell
Yeah.
me, and we'll just say yes or no. We don't have to go too deep into it. So because I do have something else that I do feel like we're gonna go a little deep into it, and I have something to read about it real quick. So
Okay.
the three games will be Halo, Fable, and Perfect Dark. Are we gonna see any of these uh, in on Sunday?
I don't think Fable, because I think we already seen some of that, and I think they're gonna dedicate that to their own like developer direct or whatever.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, so I think we'll see that there, and they've already shown it, in some capacity here and there. So I don't
Yeah.
think that
Okay, I thought the same.
Halo.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Halo. I don't. That's hard to say. I don't know if we see Halo like in the capacity that we're thinking about of like the next big Halo.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think we see
thinking.
something.
I'm not
Yeah,
thinking an update for Halo Infinite or anything like that. I'm thinking more like a new game or a spin-off game or something like that. Something new,
yeah.
not Halo Infinite related.
I wonder because they recently announced that they were gonna do Unreal 5, right? That the whole
Yeah.
studio's moving into that. I wonder if they announce a remake of like Halo 3 on Unreal 5.
Now, why
That
Halo
would
3 and
be
not Halo 1?
because they've already remade Halo 1. And they did that Halo 1 Classic or whatever that's called that you
Right.
can flip between like the new remade version and the old remade version.
Yeah,
And or maybe Halo 2 remake.
that's already
I don't know.
remade too.
I don't. Yeah, did they already?
Yeah, they
Oh
did that
no,
too.
they did. You're
Yeah, the
right.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Um, so yeah, 3 is the only one that hasn't been significantly like
Okay.
updated or done anything in any capacity, right? And it was also a very high profile. They just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I think 3 was the peak of the popularity of Halo.
Yeah,
And
you got
so
that right.
yeah, and so at that point, it's like, okay, well, why don't we, since we moved into Unreal 5, and we've already remade the first and the second one, why don't we focus on the one that we haven't touched yet and then go full blown into Unreal 5 in this remake?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like that Halo 3 would be the one.
So if they do a remake of 3, then I'm thinking they're gonna add it to the Halo Master Chief Collection. Maybe if you have Game Pass, of course you'll get it.
Maybe.
If you don't have Game Pass and you have the Halo Master Chief Collection, then you'll pay, I guess, to add it. Because the reason why I say that is because they could then say, okay, we're adding the remake of 3 to the Halo Master Chief Collection, and the Halo Master Chief Collection will also come to PlayStation. So that
Yeah,
way PlayStation gets the whole package and the remake.
I could see that. And even, to be honest, even Switch, that could work in the Switch
It's
as
like
well. I'm
you're
just
it's
saying.
like you're rooting for the little guy.
Oh, I'm just like, I feel that if everybody jumps in Halo, they can see how great these games were, and they can be amped up. And I think that the popularity, it has a shot at being repopulated. The online to be repopulated, right? To a very high count at that point, because I think that in these kind of games, iconic games like these, when they're everywhere, everyone can celebrate the game. Um, just like Tony Hawk released everywhere, right? And when other games are able to release everywhere, people people just then talk about the game and they stop talking about, oh, where is this on? What console is this on? Or what platform is this on? They just, this is the game that we're all gonna play, and that's it, regardless of where you are. And I feel that I think Halo, given that it's a slower pace shooter, right? It works in handheld mode. It works in PC. I feel that games like Call of Duty, they're just a little too fast to
Yeah.
be on a handheld, or to be at least efficient on a handheld. And so this has a nice little balance. They're floaty, they're slower, and there's a lot of variety even within the game. You have like 3 versus 3 versus 3. You have like game modes where there's like very little gravity, so everybody's like floating around. And there's just a lot of different ways to jump into that. And I think that if they do open it to PlayStation and the Switch too, I think it's gonna have a huge newfound surge of players coming in.
Mm. Yeah, I believe that too. How about Perfect Dark? Do you think they're gonna show that here on Sunday?
Well, they already showed that
Are they gonna show like
last time.
a demo, not just a trailer?
I don't think so. I think that uh with would be for the developer direct next year as well. I think those two. What was it? What did we say? What was the other game
Fable,
that you said? The
Fable and
Fable.
Perfect
Yeah,
Dark.
I think Fable Perfect Dark are gonna be slated to that time, and maybe Elder Scrolls. Also,
No,
that
they're not
was
showing that this year at all. What are they gonna show? The title, Elder Scrolls 6? We already know that.
what they did that like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
you know, no, maybe
So
that'll be the game for next year's like dual show. Like how we have uh this year
Outer
Outer
Worlds
Worlds and Xbox.
for
Maybe that'll be next year
for which one? For Elder
Elder
Scrolls?
Scroll.
No, that
Yeah,
game is not even started yet. They're not gonna
of
show it.
course it is.
Anyway,
Well,
moving
maybe yeah.
on.
Yeah.
All
Wait,
right,
you
so
said a third game in there. You said you has Halo.
yeah, Halo,
Uh,
Fable, and Perfect Dark.
oh, Perfect Dark. Okay,
Yeah, so
yeah,
real quick,
yeah. I
because I
don't think
didn't, yeah, I didn't say much, but yeah, I agree with you on Fable and Perfect Dark. They're not gonna be here. I'm thinking they're gonna be shown next year. One of them, probably Perfect Dark, will be shown on January with the developer direct, and I'm
yeah,
thinking Fable will be, after the Xbox showcase in June. As for Halo, I don't see unless I mean, because all I can see that they have to announce is the Halo Master Chief Collection coming to PlayStation, and that shouldn't be here because they're not adding anything to the Master Chief Collection for the Xbox, unless they mention the Halo 3 remake. Then yes, you
yeah.
can you can have it here, but I don't see the Halo 3 remake being announced here, or even
Mm,
maybe not even this year. So that's just what
yeah.
I think. So we'll see if they
And
mention Halo at all. Yeah.
the other thing too is that if they do something like the Master Chief Collection, it's gonna be a little weird because I already moved into Unreal 5, so that would be the only game within the Master Chief Collection that's Unreal 5. Everything else is gonna be, their whatever engine they were using before.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind
hmm
of weird too.
I mean, it
Now
will
that I'm
have to
thinking
be
about
a
it.
separate game, right? Unless they somehow find a way to put it on top of Halo 3,
Right.
which
Yeah.
Oblivion they
Yeah, it's
did that.
doable.
They put
Yeah,
they put the game the new Unreal Engine game on top of the old game,
that's true too.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something there that they can do. But anyway,
We'll see if
yeah.
they mention Halo at all.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I'm going to no, that's not gonna happen. But I'm fine either way.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
Okay.
last thing I wanted to mention and see if maybe they'll announce it here. I mean, it's been a rumor for a while now, and when we already, I think it was in the last episode we did, we saw it already, and it's the handheld. Are they gonna mention the
Yeah.
handheld here? Are they gonna announce it? Or not announce it because we know it's coming out. But are they gonna show it or show a trailer of the handheld itself and maybe even a release date and maybe even a price? Do you think we see anything
Yeah.
handheld here?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that we should see some third party like, Rogue Ally or whatever it is. Just because there's been a lot of noise recently about
Yeah.
it, right? And even the manufacturers, there's been a lot of noise around
I
there.
mean,
So
the
I do
leak
think
last year with the
here,
picture from somebody who had it.
right? Yeah, that wasn't too long ago.
That was last week,
That
wasn't
wasn't
it?
last year. That was last week. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
think you
yeah,
said
last week.
last year.
Yeah. No, no.
Yeah, no, yeah. So there's been a lot of noise, and I think that um, I think it is a good place to announce or launch something. My only concern is that, and I don't see how this isn't a thing, but you never know with Microsoft. But I don't see how they would announce this, but it can't play all their Xbox games. So, which means that they would have figured out some sort of emulation for like Xbox 360 games or Xbox original games or Xbox One games or whatever. Because
Mm,
obviously Game Pass is going to be part of this, and those games are in Game Pass. And so, if they don't have a solution for that, it's gonna be kind of dumb. But I have a feeling that they're gonna announce something and they'll have a solution ready to go
okay.
for those things.
So to me, I mean, it's a partnership, right? It's not
Yeah.
Microsoft who's doing the handheld itself. They're doing the software, which will be the
Software, right?
the Game Pass machine, the Game Pass software per se. Because I'm thinking this machine is not gonna play 360 games. It's not gonna play Xbox original Xbox games, or even, I mean, Series X. You could say will play because the games on the Series X will be on the PC, on the PC, so you could just play those on the handheld.
Yeah.
So to me, it being a partnership, I'm not thinking or even expecting it for do backwards compatible with the old systems. I'm waiting on that to be there for the Microsoft official handheld when it comes.
Mm,
That's got to be there. For a third party, I'm not really. Now, what they will have to do, and I'm guessing that's what they're doing now, is that they need to have the app needs to work natively like the Steam app does. It
mhm.
cannot be, you cannot have the handheld have to go to through Windows for you to install that
Right.
app, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, you got to figure out what happened or reinstall it or whatever. No, no, no. It has to come with it installed and not have Windows in the background, because Windows, we don't need Windows for
Yeah.
the handheld. Nobody uses Windows on that. Especially,
Right. Right.
it's not a tablet or anything. It's just a small screen. And then you
Yeah.
have to use, from what I hear, you have to plug in a mouse. What? No, no, no. I don't need none of
No.
that.
Yeah.
So
Listen.
yeah, you do have to plug in a mouse to set it up to be able to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
That, yeah.
that's
That doesn't
that's
make any sense.
right. So if you are doing that on the handheld, it needs to work out of the box and have a
Yeah.
UI close to what we have on the Xbox. So
Yeah. I
there's
agree.
parity between the two. If you want to play a game on the go and then you get home, you play on the Xbox. You know already that everything's gonna carry over because they've done that for a while. But I think forever. And
Yeah.
so I just don't expect it to play anything other than PC games.
Mm, that's interesting.
At
I
least
I feel.
again, just at least for
Yeah.
this one, for the third party one. The first party will have to.
Yeah. I think that yeah, now that you're mentioning it, maybe I'm 50-50 on it, but I feel like the Game Pass app, right,
Mhm.
would be the underlying thing that when you open up that app, it's a shell, and everything that's in relation to emulation or anything like that would live inside that shell. And so in those cases, it could literally be that that app could be placed anywhere. It could be on your TV. It doesn't matter, right? Because it would emulate everything within the app. So I feel that given that it would be a PC handheld, that emulation would be a bit more streamlined.
Okay.
Or maybe they could do something where maybe it's not emulated locally, but it's you can stream it through the cloud,
But
through
that's
the
what I
Game
was gonna
Pass app.
bring it to,
Yeah.
because think about it. I mean, we don't even have backwards compatible games on the cloud. We don't have that yet. So if they don't have that there
Mm,
yet, I don't think they've had the time to make it work within the Xbox app on this third party handheld. That's why I'm
yeah.
thinking, there is a lot more time for them to work for that on the Microsoft one, the first party one. Or maybe
Yeah.
even just
Yeah.
the cloud one, even if it's not natively, but at least for the cloud.
And it would be amazing if it was a hub based, whatever OS they end up doing, if it's Windows based or if it's an Xbox OS, whatever they call it.
Right, right.
Uh, that would be awesome if you could just have, okay, here's these apps, or not apps, but these stores within the software. You have Steam, you have Xbox, you have Epic, you have GOG, whatever it is, right? You can just have them all laid out, and then just or have like one giant library, and then you just be like, okay, I want to play this, and this is all this stuff. It just grabs all the information from all these other places, and you can then install it locally. I think that would be pretty damn awesome if you can see everything in one place.
I think it's
Because you
gonna
can't do
be
that with SteamOS, right? You can't link like Epic, Xbox,
no,
Ubisoft, or EA or whatever
no.
other like stores are out there, Rockstar stores or whatever it is. So it would be cool if it could do that from within, and just have them like in tiles, just
That's what I was thinking. That it's gonna be. It could be in the Xbox app. That's gonna be on the handheld, and then it'll have
yeah,
like tabs. You like the Internet Explorer. You have tabs. In one tab, you have
right,
one website. The other one, another website. And in this case, for the gaming, one tab will be all Xbox, and then if you go to the other tab, it'll be all Steam and things like that.
yeah,
I think that would be the best way to do it. Instead of having to go from one app to the other.
right, yeah, no, that could work too. All those things, as long as they have them consolidated in one place, is really key.
Yep. Okay. Uh, any other predictions or anything else you think you'll be there?
I think we do see an upgrade to Game Pass in some capacity,
What do you mean
in some
upgrade?
features. Game Pass features like, uh, maybe there will be some sort of emulation to the Game Pass app, where they're going to add more backwards compatible games. They reopened that department recently, right? They're
Right.
looking into doing
Yeah, yeah.
so. I think we see more, not vintage games, but more like Xbox One, 360. I think we see more of that added into Game Pass.
Okay.
Um,
So Game
update for
Pass,
that. So I
something
think
new for Game
yeah,
Pass.
yeah, some update of some sort.
All right.
So
And
that's
you
my
did
other
mention
prediction.
before, and I didn't say anything about it, but when you mentioned Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 being, mentioned that it's going to come to Game Pass either that day or later on, I I do think there could be a game that's going to go on Game Pass that same day. You know
Mm,
how they say usually, oh, this game is coming to Game Pass later today. I think they'll have
yeah,
one
yeah,
game that will come to Game Pass
a
later
shadow
that day.
drop.
Yeah, I think there will be at
Yeah,
least one.
yeah, and I think now because they're doing this retro gaming and stuff, and if they do this update and all that stuff, then I think they're gonna start to introduce more of that library from Activision, which has a massive library, which they haven't really done much to add to Game Pass, right? At least from the
Yeah,
older stuff. So I think we start to see a bit more of that.
I hope so, man. Because there's so many
Yeah,
games. Like, yeah, they added Diablo 4, the big one, the last Call of Duty, and Modern Warfare 3, right?
they
Uh,
did. Yeah, recently.
yeah,
Yeah,
but that's it. There's nothing
yeah.
else. So they
So they
need
need
to
to go
start adding
back,
new games.
like the Call of Duty from like World War II. The really old ones, like the 2001 one or whatever those came out, right?
Oh, the 360
Um,
ones? Well,
yeah, well,
those would be the original. No,
yeah.
no, they never came out for the
No,
original Xbox, right?
I think it was a 360. Yeah,
The
like
360 is when they
the
started.
one I remember. Yeah,
Yeah, that was, I
and
think it was Call
so
of Duty 2.
and there's other stuff, right? Like they have other, I don't know, Transformers. I think is one of
Mm-hmm.
the ones that they have, and
Yep.
they have another like uh, they have Spider-Man games too. Like
Oh yeah.
they have a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be cool to see those.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what's gonna be announced on Sunday at 1 p.m. I'll be there before it starts because I wanna be ready for it. And we'll do the reaction to it afterwards, either the same day or the next day or whenever you can. Just let me know.
Okay.
And with that, subscribe and follow if you like what you saw or heard. And that's it for this week's episode, friends. Till next time, be good gamers.
Peace.